Chad Silber over there and Jalen Gilkey over there. Tim Buckley down at the bottom.
There's
in the
Tim
weather
right
garden.
over there. There she is. Tim is outside in the weather garden, obviously. He's going to update us on the return of the heat. Tim, I hear it's coming back.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, we have a little bit of time to enjoy still, but by the weekend, you got to sweat again.
All right, we will get an update from him in just a bit. But first, let's start with Jalen, who has talked to a local bookstore now requiring some customers to have a vaccine.
Yeah, guys, you heard that right. Scupper Knox is an independently owned bookstore in downtown Greensboro. This hidden gem is a one-stop shop offering a variety of literature, wine, and food from the surrounding restaurants. Recently, its team announced masks are once again required in the store, and if you want to eat or drink inside, you're going to have to show proof of a vaccination.
Saturday, we will start requiring proof of vaccination for the people who want to eat or drink in the store. Not for everyone who comes in, just for the people who are going to be eating and drinking because they're going to be taking their masks off.
Scupper Knox is a small bookstore in downtown Greensboro. According to co-owner Steve Mitchell, the store is going to do whatever it takes to protect their customers.
People come into the store and they study in the store and they read in the store. Sometimes they work in the store because so many people are working from home. So we wanted to give people the opportunity to do that, but still make it safe for everyone else.
Two wants to know how this is going to be enforced.
So you can have the card itself, or you can have a picture of the card on your phone. And there are also some apps that people use when they travel that prove their vaccination status. So any of those things are fine, will work.
We also wanted to know, how have customers reacted to this new policy?
Overwhelmingly positive. So I think a lot of people understand that we're just trying to make it safe for people to come to the store.
Again, this policy begins at Scupper Knox Books this Saturday, August 7th.
Jalen, thanks. Our state's vaccination rate has slowed to a crawl, and it's been there for a while. Just over half of North Carolinians have at least one dose of a vaccine. Keep in mind, children 11 or younger aren't eligible yet. Vaccination rates really vary by county. In our area, Guilford and Forsyth have the best vaccination rate per population. 53% in Guilford, 51% in Forsyth. Alamance is at 49%. Lately, we have seen a small but notable boost in first dose vaccine in the last week compared to the week prior. Meantime, Forsyth County says the $100 vaccine cash cards, they are working. Yesterday, nearly 300 people showed up to get their first dose. The county ran out of cards within hours. The health department says it'll get more cards later this week. The Guilford County Health Department will start giving out those $100 cash cards on Saturday. Now, if you take someone to get their first dose, you get a $25 cash card. Find the full list of locations on our website. No doubt getting the vaccine has been a polarizing topic. Bringing it up with loved ones can cause quite the argument. Coming up in about 20 minutes, we'll hear from an expert about having that vaccination discussion.
All right, time to get to your 4 to 5 roundup. High Point police have identified 2 suspects in a shooting at the Apple Tree grocery store, but they are not naming those suspects as of right now. U.S. Marshals have taken over this case, and they believe that releasing the names could compromise the case. The shooting happened last Saturday night. Police say the 2 men became impatient while trying to buy something, which led to one of the men shooting a store clerk several times. The clerk had surgery, is now recovering in a local hospital. Well, today, Democratic candidate Sherry Beasley slammed her Republican counterparts for opposing the $1 trillion infrastructure bill. She says the bill is an opportunity to upgrade roads and create good-paying jobs across our state. Republican candidate Mark Walker says he is proud of the lawmakers that opposed the bill, citing concerns about its effect on the national debt. Today, we're expecting to hear from a Congressional Budget Committee on the infrastructure bill's effect, if any, on the nation's budget deficits. Right now, if you want to walk into a city-owned building in Greensboro, City Hall, the police station, you're going to need to wear a mask. The new mask requirement went into effect today. It applies to all employees and community members. A similar mask policy goes into effect for city government buildings in Winston-Salem starting Monday.
Time to check up on that weather outside, which really has been the star of the show this week. Very comfortable for this time of year, and if you've been outside, you know what I mean. It just feels good. And we still have that around for today. A little warmer at the moment. Want to look at that blue sky over downtown Greensboro? Check it out. But we're sitting at 82 degrees, so there is warmth. It's not quite as cool as the last couple of days have been. The star right here, check it out. The dew point very low at the moment to go along with these temperatures, which are in the mid 80s in some spots. Some of you as warm as 85 at the moment, but keep in mind, we still have that comfortable humidity. You don't need me to tell you that. Dry weather across the Carolinas, but still watching some rain trying to resurge down to our south. We're going to have updated rain chances for Saturday. I think we're going to see that Saturday morning. But as far as tomorrow, another dry one. Mid 60s in the morning, mid 80s for tomorrow afternoon. Still low humidity, but that's the last day of that. We'll have more on the weekend forecast, including when I think it'll rain on Saturday in the Triad in a few minutes.
Each day that passes, we are inching closer to the start of the football season, and man, does it feel good to say that. With that being said, Wake Forest took the next step, opening the 2021 season with their first official practice bright and early this morning, because after all, we have just 29 days until the Deacs home opener. The team is returning 9 super seniors for their extra year of eligibility due to the pandemic and are hoping it'll pay dividends for the season ahead. Coach Dave Clausen says the best players will play at the end of the day, while the players themselves are preaching one word as they gear up for the 2021 campaign.
Consistency is the biggest thing because we got the pieces to be really good, but talent isn't anything unless you work hard. So we got to come out here every day and put the work in, be consistent. Like Lawson says, good to great, and you can't do that unless you're consistent every day. And once you stack those days, consistency upon consistency every day, then the results are going to be everything we wanted.
Just a big difference from a year ago because we had the whole summer. So I think you could tell by the tempo of it, their conditioning level, their knowledge. So this didn't feel like a practice 1, it felt like a practice 12.
Wake's in-state rivals in both NC State, UNC, and Duke have also started their fall practice, while North Carolina A&T is set to hit the field for their first practice starting tomorrow afternoon. I know we're just talking about practice, but this talk's getting me pretty excited for the season, which is really just a month away.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that football is coming back, and I love the idea of the super seniors. I mean, I'm hopeful to see some of these teams really excel because they've got players who've been playing for more than players in the past because they get that extra season.
And I know I should be just concentrated on football, but I'm concentrated on all the things that go on with college football. So I'm thinking like sausage dip,
Right.
Buffalo chicken dip. I'm thinking about all that time you get to spend like kind of huddled together watching the games.
That might be even more important than the football itself.
Right.
I don't know. But it'll also be interesting to see North Carolina A&T. I know they're switching conferences this year, so that'll be fun to watch to see how they compete with the new competition compared to how they dominated the MEAC. So also something to keep your eyes peeled for.
I'm looking forward to the tailgate, right?
Yes.
I love the tailgate. All right, from college to the pros, the Carolina Panthers are preparing for a big night tomorrow night. It's Fan Fest at Bank of America Stadium. Watch it right here on WFMY at 7 p.m. Because of that, Secret Celebrity Restoration airs early Saturday morning at 1:37, followed by Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. Live coverage of Fan Fest starts at 7 p.m. right here on WFMY, your official home of the Carolina Panthers. We'll be right back. We get viewer questions all the time, especially from people wanting us to verify something. Today we have a special verify sent in by a young viewer who loves weather.
Yeah, Good Morning Show anchor Tracy McCain's 5-year-old son Josiah, who's so stinking cute, so cute. He wants to know about Mother Nature and the condensation that she brings to us every single morning.
That sound means it is time to verify. I'm Megan Malaris. Early birds get to witness the best part of the day. In the morning, Mother Nature is untouched, undisturbed, and peaceful. And oftentimes you can feel the fresh air in the form of morning dew. That brings us to our Weather Verify Kids Edition. An aspiring young meteorologist whom you might recognize has this question.
Hi, Kristen. I have one for you. What's the difference between dew point and morning dew?
That was Good Morning Show anchor Tracy McCain's son, who loves science and is very inquisitive. To answer his question, I turned to the National Weather Service and WFMY News 2 meteorologist Christian Morgan.
That is a great question, Josiah, and you're actually really onto something because they are different, but they do kind of correlate with each other. They kind of go together. So what is the dew point exactly? Well, it's the measure of water vapor or moisture in the air and the temperature that water vapor must be cooled to in order for it to condense. And hold that thought because we're going to come back to that. So basically, here's what you need to know. The higher the dew point, the more muggy that it feels outside. So quick example for you here. Let's take two cylinders, one a smaller one with the temperature at 55 degrees and the relative humidity at 100%. Well, the dew point there is 55 degrees. Now take another cylinder, a little bit bigger, much warmer, 95 degrees, but the relative humidity is 55%. And the dew point's only 76 degrees. So which one feels more humid? Well, it's going to be that warmer cylinder of air because the dew point is really the better measure of how it feels. So once you cool the air down to that dew point, then you get that morning dew. You get the water vapor to start condensing and forming those water droplets on blades of grass or on spider webs, and that is actually the morning dew itself. So the dew point, the temperature, all work together to create that morning dew that Josiah is talking about.
In conclusion, we verified it's true there is a difference between dew point and morning dew, but they are related. The National Weather Service echoed what Christian explained. The higher the dew point, the muggier it'll feel, and the greater chance you'll see some morning dew. If you or your children have a question you want verified, email a selfie video or short paragraph to verify@WFMY.com. Let us get your questions verified.
All right, Tim, we're talking weather, of course. So my dog, Kona, saw her shadow today and said, it feels like fall.
Okay, it's like the groundhog or something, an early prediction for fall or winter. That could be. We'll have to see what Kona thinks about the upcoming weather. We are looking at more nice weather the rest of today and tomorrow, but then changes ahead for the weekend. Here's how you've been enjoying the day the last couple of hours. Looking at just some partly cloudy skies in Greensboro, and temperatures pretty comfortable for this time of year. Low 80s here, mid 80s in Raleigh and Charlotte. It's actually cooler at the beaches. It's been a really bad week to be at the beach. Luckily, you stayed here, right? Hopefully you're going another time, but it's been very rainy, very cloudy out that way. Good amount of rain is gathering again to our south, and I do think we have a good chance for some scattered downpours on Saturday morning. Not really the case tomorrow. There may be a few scattered showers after 5 and 6 o'clock in the evening, but for Saturday, that low pressure area brings us a good chance of morning rain, a little drier for the afternoon. Quick look at your 7-day forecast. We get out of Saturday, the rain chance will go away. Sunday, just hot and humid. We're going to keep it around for next week. You're watching the 4 to 5.
Get ready for the return of a TRIAD summer music tradition.
Yeah, we're talking about MUSIP, or Music for a Sunday Evening in the Park series. It starts this weekend, and our own Eric Chilton talked with the director Ryan Deal about the festival.
Ryan, this is one of my favorite events of the summer. It kind of wraps up summer, but let's talk about this series and how will it look when people come to see this in person this go around?
Sure. So the summer looks a little different because we've been streaming virtual concerts up to this point, but we're very excited. We needed to make these decisions actually several months ago, and at that point there were still some questions around COVID precautions that may still be in place, and so we made the decision to be in one location to make navigating that easier. Rest assured, next summer the plan is to be back on the road, traveling to parks and green spaces throughout the city.
So we have to talk about food and drink because that's an important part of any outdoor event. How's that looking this year?
Absolutely. The first thing I would say is parking is available for free. So you'll be traveling to the Greensboro Coliseum complex and looking for the White Oak Amphitheater, but rest assured parking is available for free. Also, you know, folks that know and love MUSEP may be accustomed to bringing a picnic, bringing a blanket, a lawn chair. You can do all of those things. White Oak is allowing you to bring in your own food and beverage, just cannot bring in your own alcohol.
So it kicks off this Sunday. Let's talk about that band and then what can we expect for the rest of the season?
Sure. So this Sunday, August 8th, 6 p.m., White Oak Amphitheater, we are joined by the Corey Luchin and the Travelin' Blues Band. And then we will also be featuring Knights of Soul. Looking beyond that to the remaining 3 concerts, there's literally a little something for everyone. We've got Pan-Latin, fusion, R&B, funk, soul, gospel, country, Americana, folk music. So I feel like no matter what your musical tastes or interests are, you're going to find something that you will enjoy on the concert mix. And we hope that you might also come out and enjoy something that's new to you that maybe you're not as familiar with.
Ryan, sounds awesome. Can't wait to be there. Thank you for your time today, buddy.
Most people are familiar with the childhood story about the little red engine that could. I think I can, right? Yeah. In today's U Day, Coach Lamont reiterates that lesson we learned as a child with a message about healing and perspective.
It's possible to believe too much of our own story, that we never find the freedom and healing that we need. This happens when you see yourself out of the lenses of your pain and have completely dismissed healing as a possibility. We can believe our story so much that we are blinded by the events that have actually taken place. It is because of our story, it is what we've already lived, that we think to ourselves that we can't be healed. I would ask myself over and over again, is this healing really possible for me? When we ask these questions, we are forced to answer ourselves because all the answers live within. And the more dialogue that we have with ourselves, the more we learn. The first thing I had to do is I had to stop replaying my story. The first part of your story is always disempowering. The second part is being written. Healing can happen, but we must be willing to go through the process.
Well, hey there.
Hey
We are
there.
back at the 4 to 5.
We are. Encouraging people to get the coronavirus vaccine can be a touchy topic. Without a doubt, the vaccine is a polarizing topic.
Yeah, leaders continue to stress the importance of science and the data. And in the latest coronavirus task force update, Governor Cooper urged people to help convince loved ones that the shots are indeed safe.
Right. Psychotherapist Dr. Nanette Funderburk shared the best way to approach that kind of conversation.
If you choose to go into this conversation, check how you are entering that conversation. Check your expectations and check your judgment, the way your judgment is expressed. If you have the expectation that you're going in to convince them to change their mind, then that is a setup for a fight and for you all probably to not be friends.
Well, Dr. Funderburk says before even starting the conversation, it really is important to find out if your friend or your loved one is one that's even open to having that kind of conversation and that kind of discussion.
And if they say yes, that first communicates a sign of respect from you to them. Then you go in with your ears open and listening to their opinion. What's going on in their minds? What are the things that they're thinking about? What are the things that they are fearful of? What are the things that they've heard? You want to hear what's in their minds.
Dr. Funderburk says tone of voice and facial expressions are key here.
Those things all communicate to them. Are you listening to me with a tone of I'm open, I really do want to hear what you have to say, and I'm not going to try to force you into anything? Or are you just in here trying to force me into something?
Well, she also says open-ended questions are much more effective because they allow someone to explain themselves instead of, will you get the vaccine? Instead, you want to say something like, tell me what your thoughts are on the vaccine and why you feel that way.
Right. Somehow this conversation has turned into the politics or religion from Thanksgiving dinner.
It has,
right? Like,
yes.
I would rather have a conversation with someone on the opposite end of the political spectrum than have a conversation about vaccines with somebody. I mean, it's unbelievable how this has turned into such an issue.
And I also think that it's turned into such an issue that people that you used to talk with every day and stuff like that, all of a sudden are no longer friendly or are aggressive. And you're like, we're still the same people, right?
Right.
Like we still enjoy the same things. We still enjoy having lunch together or whatever. Can't we get past this? Can't we just see that we still have other things in common?
Right. And I think that we're getting to a point now that people are getting more and more angry and polarized because you see the people getting vaccines angry that their counterparts aren't getting it, and you have people who are not getting the vaccine angry that their counterparts are requiring them to get it, or trying to require them to get it. And it's just, I mean, we're headed down a dangerous road, I think.
Yeah, the patience is like this big.
Right, and I don't know how to come out of it. I don't know how to make it better.
I don't know. So those of you who are watching, those of you who are on Facebook, let's start a positive dialogue that we can all be part of instead of the other kind of dialogue.
Yeah. We want to enjoy each other at Thanksgiving this year.
Yes. Pass the turkey.
Right. We'll be right back.
Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together.
Hello? Hi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Hello, Alabama, Alaska. Oh my gosh, I started over. Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois.
Welcome back to 4 to 5. I'm Tanya Rivera here with Chad Silber and Tim Buckley in the Weather Garden.
Hello, and me.
Yeah,
Hi.
we're going to call this Fill-In Thursday.
Oh.
Yes.
We're all just filling in for the typical crew.
That's true, holding it down.
And having a good time at it, so that's a good thing.
Absolutely. Tim, you're going to be giving us an update on the forecast. I hear the heat is coming back.
Yes, that's right. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We'll talk about when you might finally get a little bit of rain for your garden without having to do it yourself. So that's all coming up in a few.
All right, well, it's time to get to the big story of the day, and you guessed it, another startling increase to our state's coronavirus numbers. We added a lot of new cases in the past 24 hours. Come here, I want you to take a look with me over here. More than 4,300 cases statewide. George, can you pan over this way a little bit so we can see that all the way on the end there? It's 900 more than yesterday, which was our previous 5-month high. Now, the last time we saw a number this high was 6 months ago in mid-February. We also added quite a few to our hospitalization number. Today's number is 1,651. I want to show you that real quick. It looks similar to this one, but it has a more pronounced upward trend to it. George, can you show us that graphic here? I would like to show it while I'm talking about it. There it is. Look at this right here. Look at that gradual incline. Today's number, again, 1,651. It's 71 higher than yesterday. This number is also one we haven't seen since mid-February. This number has been climbing for a while. It's the 26th day in a row it has gone up.
Well, the stark increase in cases comes as we are just a few weeks away from the start of the traditional school year. So today, Wake Forest Baptist Health infectious disease physician Dr. Chris Ohl shared why he recommends all students mask up.
I think it's no secret that I believe that students should be coming back to school masked, K through 12. Our vaccination rate in public schools just isn't high enough for people non-masked. Obviously, there's kids under 12 who can't be vaccinated yet. I think that with this current surge, that if kids don't come back to school masked, then there's going to be in-school transmission.
Well, he went on to say if there are a lot of outbreaks in schools, contact tracing will not be possible, which means students and staff will have to be just simply taken out of classrooms to quarantine. Dr. Ohl also says a coronavirus vaccine for children 12 and under could be available as soon as Thanksgiving this year. Well, staying on the topic of mask policies, here's what's topping off our 4 to 5 roundup. Rockingham County Community College, reinstated its face mask requirement in the wake of rising coronavirus cases. Face masks must now be worn inside buildings on campus, whether or not a person is fully vaccinated. Masks are not required outdoors as long as a minimum of 6 feet of social distance can be maintained. RCC's plan to make the campus available for public meetings again has been delayed until at least October the 1st. RCC also recently gave about 200 students a fresh start by, get this, paying off their outstanding debt. The blessing totaled out to be nearly $113,000. Any student who was enrolled in the college between March 13, 2020 until the end of summer 2021 semester was eligible for this assistance. Well, Target is the latest big box retailer to offer incentives to attract and retain workers. The company is offering free college tuition to its 340,000 U.S. employees. Target will also cover the cost of their employees' textbooks. Both bachelor's and associate's degree programs are covered and online coursework is offered. Walmart offers a similar incentive. The state Senate unanimously approved a bill requiring teenagers to get a parent's permission before getting a COVID-19 vaccine. Right now, North Carolina allows children younger than 18 to make the vaccine decision on their own if they show the decisional capacity to do so. Only the Pfizer vaccine is available for children 12 to 17. At this time, the bill returns to the House for consideration.
The CDC says the Delta variant accounts for 93% of new cases. The increase has more people looking to get vaccinated. WFMY News 2's Itanice McMiller found out how local pharmacies are responding.
Well, Friendly Center's Gate City Pharmacy says they have more than doubled the number of vaccines they've given out in the past 2 weeks. Pharmacy technicians say the new wave of folks stopping in is due to jobs requiring the vaccine, travel, and concerns surrounding the Delta variant. Gate City Pharmacy went from giving out no first doses of the Moderna vaccine to using 2 vials in 2 weeks. That's about 20 first dose shots. The pharmacy administers shots on Thursdays, and they get about 100 doses from the state a week.
The state is looking more towards getting shots in people. Before, they were like, do not get it if you're going to waste a dose, because we cannot waste it. And now they're more, give it to people. If you have to waste it, you have to waste it.
Starmount's Pharmacy in Greensboro and TRIAD Choice in Winston-Salem have seen vaccines fluctuate. The manager at both locations says they've seen a slight increase, but nowhere near the numbers they saw earlier in the year. So they're getting creative to reach the community.
We started to do things like clinics, and we can go to their homes if they're bedridden or if they cannot make it out. So either or, we try to provide those services to them to make sure everybody gets the vaccination.
And most of the local pharmacies I spoke to say that they likely won't see the numbers they saw last year simply because the vaccine is more accessible than it was.
Well, if you have the pleasure of being outside today, it really just feels nice and comfortable. Low humidity is still sticking around, plenty of sunshine, and temperatures aren't all that bad for this time of year, at least. Let's show you what it looks like over downtown Burlington at the moment. Flags flapping in the breeze a little bit. We do have that steady wind, which has been kind of nice as well to keep it refreshing the last couple of days. But today is definitely warmer. We're up to 85 this afternoon. Started the morning still in the 60s, but it has really rebounded quite a bit. Looking at those temperatures from west to east, we're in the 70s in the high country, low 80s in the foothills, more like mid 80s here in the Triad and over toward the Triangle. Dew points, that's the key to your comfort, of course. Whenever it's below 60, we're feeling really good, especially this time of year. And all the dew points right now are about as low as they've been so far this week, in the upper 50s. So at least we don't have the stickiness to deal with. No rain whatsoever for us, and even the beaches now have dried out from that wet weather pattern they've been in, but it's not quite done yet. There is going to be a new low pressure area forming near the Gulf Coast and by Florida and Georgia for tomorrow. For us, we're going to follow it more closely heading into the weekend. Here's how tomorrow starts out. This is 5 a.m. on your Friday. We go into the afternoon, maybe a passing shower for the late day hours and into the evening. It's about a 20 to 30% chance of getting wet. By Saturday, I think it's more likely we'll see some of these scattered downpours for the morning, and then they push away going east for Saturday afternoon. So it's that first half of the day on Saturday where your outdoor plans are a little iffy here at home. As far as tomorrow, shouldn't have to worry about it too much. We're in the low 60s in the morning, mid 80s for the afternoon, with that slight chance of a passing shower for the late day hours. Temperature will be right around 87. That's your high for tomorrow. Looking at the 7-day forecast, we do have that better chance of rain for Saturday morning, but Saturday afternoon looks to be on the dry side. Sunday, back to summer heat and humidity. Temperatures will be right around 90 starting Sunday, lasting all the way going into next week.
I want you to think about this. Since the start of the pandemic, adults have spent, on average, more than 13 hours a day looking at some type of technology screen. Not surprisingly, this could be affecting your eyesight.
Spending too many hours staring at a screen can cause dry and irritated eyes, and also eye fatigue. This occurs because you tend to blink less while staring at the blue light from a screen, and the movement of the screen makes your eyes work harder to focus.
And I really do think that we all have spent a lot of time looking at screens, and we spend a lot of time looking at screens anyway. But I'm hearing from friends and their kids about them dealing with that same kind of issue.
And that's scary, right? Because I mean, you know, when you're that young, I imagine that you're picking up habits and you're impacting your vision and that kind of stuff. Whereas for us, I mean, I wonder if that's that big of an impact.
Well, I think it definitely is. We just don't realize it as much, right? And it's not like we spent more time in front of a screen than we used to last year, because we spend time in front of the screen no matter what. But let me ask you, because unless there's a problem, usually, you know, the eye doctor is way down on the list of doctors that you're going to see. So when's the last time you got your eyes checked, Chad?
Do you really want to know?
Yes.
15 years ago?
What?
Maybe.
You are kidding me.
I mean, the one thing that I've been given that's perfect is my vision. and
his hair.
I just haven't been.
Okay. So they call it a routine eye exam for a reason. Hello, routine. Okay. So kids should have their eyes checked about every 2 years or so. And if they wear glasses, they need an eye exam every year. Folks ages 20 to 39, I think you're in that, right? Okay. Are good for about every 2 or 3 years. Ages 40 to 64, it's every 2 years or so. 65 and above, you need to go every single year.
During a routine eye exam, your doctor will ask about your vision and general health, but also will test your vision and check your prescription.
An eye exam can also detect not only vision issues, but also cataracts, glaucoma, diabetic retinopathy, and age-related macular degeneration. That could all cause some vision loss. Now, the doctor is also going to examine the optic nerve and retina after dilating your eyes with those drops. You remember what that's like, right? And they're going to look inside your eyes with a microscope as well. Now, this was really interesting to me and a little scary. Even run-of-the-mill vision impairment may be linked to poorer memory and a greater risk of depression. Something else to add to this COVID year.
The TRIAD's premier tennis tournament is just a few weeks away. How you can be a part of it. It's next. Tennis fans will converge on the TRIAD in just a few weeks for the Winston-Salem Open. Eric Chilton found out what you can expect this year.
Well, Jeff, only 2.5 weeks away. I mean, this is a pretty big deal. It's getting close to crunch time. Give us an idea of what this is going to look like this year and how the tournament's shaping up.
We're going to be offering 100% capacity for our fans and 100% prize money for our players, which makes us unique this year to be able to say that at this point. But the stands started going up in the recent days. Final plans are being put in place in all different areas, and we're very excited about this year's player field as well. We've got some returning champs who've been here before, as well as some new names in Marin Cilic, who's never played here before, who's a top-level, tour player.
So let's talk about this. You had mentioned to me before that there's a need for volunteers. I know the volunteers, they're kind of the heart and soul of the whole thing. What do they do? What does this entail?
Yeah, we're very lucky to have a strong family of volunteers over the years, and we still do. But we are experiencing some additional need in the transportation area right now. We could use a few 12 and older ball persons. So between those two and say operations in general, you can visit our website, WinstonSalemOpen.com, and check out those opportunities.
Let's talk about how valuable they are. I mean, this tournament probably, is it safe to say, couldn't run without the volunteers?
Oh, certainly. You know, sporting events, I'm an industry veteran of 35 plus years and have experienced volunteers in a variety of ways. Some tournaments rely more, others less, but I guess the underlying theme is all of them rely on volunteers to a degree. They're very important, and it's a great opportunity for someone like a resident of Winston-Salem who wants to get out and engage with a sporting event that's right here in their town. It's a great opportunity to do that.
Jeff, thanks a lot. We know it's crunch time. You've got a lot to do. We'll see you at the tournament.
And if you want to volunteer, you can get more information on WFMYnews2.com. And you guys, I hate to say it, but I have never been to the Winston-Salem Open. That's like the one event I haven't been to. Have you guys been?
No.
Me neither. I know. I was like, I haven't been either.
I need to go.
But I
Yeah.
think to myself, because I just watched the Serena documentary, you know, there's a whole bunch of installation stuff like that. And that brought me to a whole different like tennis world that I never knew about it. Now I'm like, ooh, I need to go.
I do think tennis for me would fall into the category of like one of those sports I'm not a big fan of, but if you see it in person would be super impressive. You know, whenever you see these athletes up close and they're hitting the ball like 100 miles an hour, that's something that would be pretty cool.
I think for me, maybe if they moved it, I would be more inclined to go. But I mean, if you think about it, it's like
Chad lives in this Greensboro bubble. If it's like 20
There's
miles,
so many great restaurants and fun places to go.
I'm not talking about moving the location, moving the
Okay.
date. I mean, we're like thinking like the dog days of summer in August, and sitting there without moving, when it's 100 degrees, 100% humidity. That's just, I mean, that's tough.
I feel the same thing about the Wyndham. I mean, I sweat the second I get out of the door in the summertime, and it's just hot. It really is hot this time of year. You know, if you're not next to a pool, you're gonna sit in it. Yep.
But it's not as good when you don't watch it in person, I don't think. I love to be there at the Wyndham, sweating through it all.
Okay, we're going this year, guys. It is happening. We are going.
They have refreshments, I'm sure.
All right, great. We'll be right back. Dozens of wildfires are burning in California right now, forcing thousands of people from their homes.
Yeah, one of those, the Dixie Fire, has really just exploded in the last 24 hours, wiping out a mountain town that dates back to California's gold rush era.
Charred buildings are all that's left of the historic mountain town of Greenville, California. The Dixie Fire, now the 6th largest in state history, wiped out the evacuated town in just a matter of hours Wednesday night. The fast-moving fire grew by 20,000 acres in a single day.
Hitting here, hitting there, hitting on top of the hill up there. It was unbelievable. This place was so lit up.
The Dixie Fire is just one of more than a dozen large fires tearing across Northern California. It scorched more than 500 square miles, or an area about the size of the city of Phoenix, Arizona.
With all the fires happening around this region, it's kind of hitting us from all sides.
About 100 miles to the south, the river fire broke out Wednesday near the town of Colfax, forcing people to flee with little more than the clothes on their backs.
As soon as we left, we saw fire everywhere. I mean, we literally pretty much drove through it.
I really just wanted my dad's ashes. How do you put a value on something like just how precious life is, whether it be animal or even a memento of someone you love?
Red flag weather conditions coupled with bone-dry vegetation are fueling the flames.
Please listen to those mandatory evacuations. We want to keep you guys safe.
More than 20,000 firefighters are battling 97 wildfires in 13 states. The fire's so large, you can see them from space. Anthony Pura, CBS News.
It is really unbelievable. And I know you tweeted something out about it, Tim, about how it's so much harder to forecast than anything else.
Well, and you think about it, like, fires are really not a weather phenomenon. You have hurricanes, tornadoes, these things we can predict, we can see them happening in advance. And if you think about all those weather disasters, there are very few that actually will level an entire town. That's what a fire does. And small changes in wind can just have a total difference. They're not very easy to predict. And honestly, I would think they're much scarier than a hurricane or anything that we have to deal with regularly here in North Carolina.
I think it's the such little time to prepare because, like you said, the wind shift can happen in an instant, and then all of a sudden your neighborhood's the one that's in danger, but it wasn't just 2 minutes ago.
Sure, and I don't have a lot of optimism, in the next couple of months out that way. They've had one of the worst droughts they've had in recent memory. They've had some of the worst heat, so those things build upon themselves, and the drier it gets, the worse those fires are going to be, and the more they're going to spread. So we've already seen it here. Remember when it smelled smoky?
Right.
That's from those fires, and we could continue to see that smoke in our sky in the months ahead.
It's just crazy that this happens so often and so much. I mean, it's hard to keep reminding ourselves that this is such a big deal because honestly, it's kind of turned into white noise over the years. We constantly hear about it over on this coast. And it's just devastating to see so many people impacted year after year after year after year. It's like, what do you do?
An entire town gone.
Yeah, it's a big problem. Here locally, we could use a little bit of rain, but certainly we're in no big problems like the West is. No drought status here locally. It's just been a little dry, so we really have nothing to complain about. A couple of scattered clouds is all you've been looking at this afternoon here in the Piedmont. Temperature is pretty comfortable for this time of year. We're in the 80s, and again, dry weather abound across most of the southeast, but you still see some swirling motion near Florida and a front offshore. This is going to develop into our next weather maker. So low pressure over Georgia now. We'll get a little closer by tomorrow. It's possible late tomorrow afternoon we could see a stray shower, but it's still mostly a dry and comfortable day. For Saturday, I actually think the morning is going to be our best chance for rain, and it really depends on where you are. Foothills, you might stay dry the whole day, but Greensboro East, some scattered showers and downpours in the morning on Saturday, and then we all dry out for Saturday afternoon. I don't see any good chance for rain after Saturday. It'll be just back to summer weather. Look at these temperatures. Oof, we're back toward 90 by Sunday, and we're going to stay in those 90s. Heading into next week, there will be plenty of humidity. So summer is coming on back with a vengeance. Get ready for it. You're watching the 4 to 5. Hello, this is a mic check for the 5 o'clock news on this Thursday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hi there, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee.
Let's have fun, right? Downtown Greensboro business requiring vaccines. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hello.
Ten 9 8 7 6 5 4 3 2 1.
Hello, mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hello.
So it's time for my 2 cents, but today I'll call it Dad's 2 cents because we're talking dad jokes. Now, if you don't know what dad jokes are, then you really are a dad. So here's the explanation. They're super corny jokes that are so bad they're good. I liked these before they were given the name dad jokes. I always liked the cornier, the better. They're so funny because they're horrible, okay? So today and tomorrow for my 2 cents, we're gonna do dad jokes, part 1 and part 2. Here we go. Since I'm a dad, a father of 4, I qualify for these. Number 1. So Freddie Mercury, Venus Williams, and Bruno Mars all went into a bar, but they didn't plan it. Recently, I took a poll, and 100% of the people inside the tent were upset that it collapsed. I took the poll and picked up. Went to the ear doctor, not good news. He said I'm losing some functionality. That was really hard to hear. You know, 6:30 is the best time on the clock, hands down. This is my step ladder. I never knew my real ladder. And this one's one of my favorites. Which U.S. state is known for having little tiny soft drinks? Minnesota. Minnesota. They're so bad. They are so bad, so bad. So now you know what dad jokes are. Take that to your kids and get ready for every eye roll you've ever seen in your life all in one face. But that's just my 2 cents, or my 6 jokes. And that's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
I think a lot of people understand that we're just trying to make it safe for people to come to the store.
A downtown Greensboro business requiring a COVID vaccine for people